My video for February the 28th, 2019 is video number 3010. The title is State of Emergency and Executive Orders. This came to me from Operation Disclosure, a report I get every day. This one, received on February the 27th, 2019, is just one of many separate articles in the report. Quote, Mike Adams, the health ranger, explains how the state of emergency and executive orders will lead to the mass arrests. He said the executive order takes place 1 year after signing. An important executive order was signed March 1st, 2018. This is why nothing has happened so far. March 1st is just days away. Things are about to happen. This also explains why Nancy Pelosi wants to cancel the national emergency. If it is canceled, she can't be arrested. End quote. I wish I had not become so pessimistic, but I've been getting daily reports like this one for years now. They never seem to actually happen. Yet we're asked to keep the faith. Donald Trump is president, not of a nation, but of a corporation that has always operated in fiction. Lies are simply the way they do business. For me, the only executive order that could possibly have any meaning would be if an omnipotent and loving creator God was finally willing to take positive action to right the serious wrongs that have plagued humanity for eons. That's a long time. Many of us still wait, although our faith is severely challenged. I'm actually recording this late in the afternoon. It's past 3:30 already in the afternoon. And I purposely waited because I scheduled things so that I could pick up something that I had ordered in the mail. And they delivered it an hour after the business where it's to be delivered closes. The business closes at 5:30. They tried to deliver it at 6:30. And so anyway, it didn't come today either, although I had it arranged so that I could pick up two orders at the same time. Anyway, that's not the subject of this video, but there's been a lot of delays today and why things haven't flowed as smoothly as I would like. But as I said in the blurb, I get these reports day after day after day. One of them is called Operation Disclosure. I forget what the other one is called, but I get two of them. Oftentimes they have similar things in each. And I get I subscribe to a lot of mailing lists, some of which has good stuff on it that I resonate with and some that I don't. But I was convinced almost 3 years ago now, 2 3/4 years ago, to invest in alternative currency, which I did, and it was going to make me rich. All right, I don't lose a lot of money if it doesn't happen. That's just the truth of it. I mean, I invested a relatively small amount of money in what was supposed to be a large amount of money because I have a humanitarian mission. I've been on a humanitarian mission my whole life to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. But the earth is run by demons, by politicians that have their hands tied in many cases. And not only do they have their hands tied and they're not able to do some of the positive things they'd like to get done, they may become politicians with idealistic thoughts in mind and purposes that would help humanity. But they've soon come to the realization that that's not how the system works. And Donald Trump is not the president of a country. I mean, I want you to understand that. The United States of America ceased being a country when Abraham Lincoln was president. That's a long time ago, folks. In case you don't remember, that was 1860 that he was elected. It hasn't been a country since then. And there were charlatans trying to take over the country from before the Revolutionary War, Alexander Hamilton being one of them. And he was the first Secretary of Treasury, as I made clear in a previous video not very long ago. We live on a planet of lies. And I have no idea how a loving God can see the human experience as experiencing love, when we're not even allowed to tell the truth. Telling the truth becomes a danger in a world run by liars. They don't want the truth because that would expose all of their crimes against humanity. And folks, in case you haven't noticed, in case you haven't been paying attention, there are horrific crimes that have been committed. Our government is a criminal operation. And when I say our, I'm not just talking about people that live in the United States of America. I'm talking about all over the world, because virtually all governments have been corrupted everywhere. As I've said, I like Putin. I think he's made great strides, and I consider him one of the more honest politicians, if that's not an oxymoron. But in any case, I want to see real change. And I want my life to have meaning and to be fulfilled. And that's why I was the Secretary of State in the attempt to restore the Republic. The Republic put government back in order and made government the servant, not the boss of people. But we don't get that. I just watched a video where people were talking about the citizens standing up to Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, but they're calling themselves citizens. Citizen is slave. That's not a free person. But we've been so manipulated, so brainwashed, so dumbed down that most of us are clueless as to some of the things that Anna von Reitz and others have been telling us about. I mean, when are we going to wake up and get it, folks? When is God going to take responsibility for what was created, and worse, manipulated for evil purposes? When is that going to end? We did not choose it, and we cannot be totally responsible. It's not up to me or anybody like me to stand against evil. That's not, all I can do is what I'm doing. I'm telling the truth to the best of my ability. I have tried to play political roles to no effect. I had my home stolen. I've faced a lot of hardships, but I've been part of lots of movements throughout my life to reestablish freedom for humanity. Freedom cannot exist, though, until we know the truth. It will piss us off to realize how much we've been deceived. And that's a given to me. But we're not going to change anything till we first understand why we're in this predicament. And it's our fault if we continue to believe it once we hear the truth, but we're not going to believe it right away. People aren't going to believe it just because they hear me say it or somebody else say it. It takes time for it to sink in, because the deception has been so massive and so progressive over so much time. And people just, it's hard for people to get it, to grasp it, and to get to the place where we can actually be free. May that happen in my lifetime, but I'm not convinced anymore that it will. I hope so, but I'm not convinced. Thank you for listening, and namaste.